Yo, what up, a-holes? Thank you for tuning in to the Holistic A-Hole podcast. My name is Eric Levi, and I'm the Holistic A-Hole. Thank you for tuning in here to episode number 59. Where we're going to talk about high-intensity interval training. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be pumped up. It's going to be quick. It's going to be mean. And then we're just going to stop and not do another podcast for a week. But before we get into all that, I just wanted to welcome all the new listeners. You know what? Let me say this. I do this every single episode. I welcome the new listeners. New listeners, welcome. I think it's great that you found this podcast and you've taken the time to listen to it above any other podcast that you could be possibly listening to. But let me do this. Let me actually welcome all the returning listeners, because the returning listeners are the bread and butter of this podcast. You guys keep this thing going day after day, week after week. I don't know how you're finding the podcast, but you're finding it. You're listening to it. You're listening to multiple episodes. You're subscribing. You're fucking sending out the love. You're sharing it. And then you're getting back to me and you're telling me how much you're enjoying these podcasts. And I am truly grateful for you if you've listened a few times and you keep coming back. I couldn't do this without you. So just know, in my holistic heart, you, the returning listener, hold a very special place. But even more of a special place goes to those who just found the freaking podcast. You guys, if you're a new listener, thank you so much for choosing this podcast. And take a hot second, hit the subscribe button right there in your phone. It's the easiest thing you could do. You're going to look at your phone anyways. The average person looks at their phone, I think, 400 times a day. So you're going to look at your phone at least a dozen times while you're listening to this podcast. So one of those times, just hit the home screen, go back into your podcast player, and hit the subscribe button. That way, this podcast pops in your feed every Tuesday and Friday when they get released. And then, if you're a loyal, holistic a-hole listener, go on to iTunes, leave a 5-star review for me, put something nice there in the comments, and then go to YouTube and hit the subscribe button on my Holistic A-Hole YouTube page, because we're blowing up YouTube again. That's how this whole thing started in the first place. We got videos coming out every single week. We got the vegan Trump supporter videos. We got the paleo hacks videos. And then coming up, we're going to get some more content. I might do some just crazy, guerrilla warfare, fucking talks or whatever, interviewing people, sketches. The Holistic A-Hole YouTube page is where you want to be. So make sure you can take a second, go to the Holistic A-Hole YouTube page, hit the subscribe button, and then watch the videos. Love them, hate them, whatever you got to do. And then find me on all the socials. Holistic A-Hole on Facebook, at Holistic A-Hole on Twitter. What else is there? Instagram, Holistic_A_hole. As you listen to this, take a screenshot of the podcast playing in your phone and then post it on your Instagram or your Instagram story. Tag moi at Holistic_A_hole. Say something nice, and we'll connect. I'm just trying to connect with you, baby. Speaking of connect, today on this episode, I wanted to talk about connecting in the gym with some high-intensity interval training. So high-intensity interval training is actually real interesting to me. I've been, kind of a meathead gym rat for a long time. I started working out in high school when I was on the football team. Now I drink green tea and record podcasts in my living room. But back in high school, I was on the football team. We would lift weights. I got into lifting weights even before I was on the football team. Just had a little bench that I got from Walmart in my room when I was a kid. I'd sit there and I'd fucking crank up 100 pounds on the bench press, throw on the incline. I had a little leg extender thing. I would do my quads and my what do you call them, hamstrings, and I was doing all that shit, right? I was curling, and I'll be honest with you, man, I think it may have stunted my growth. I was on pace, I think, to become at least 6'5", 6'6". I was going to be a monster. When I was in 7th grade, actually, a little fun fact about the holistic a-hole, little holistic fun fact, I played center when I was on the basketball team. I was taller than everybody, man. I was center 7th, 8th grade, and then everybody started growing, and I fucking stopped. And I was lifting. And, and then there's a lot of men in my family down my family tree are like 6'5", 6'6", and I fucking sitting here sub 6 foot, sub 5'10". Ugh. But I got a huge cock. Anyway, lifting weights has always been with me. As I've gotten older, into my 30s, when I started, just hitting the grind and working like a goddamn trained monkey, that's when I stopped kind of working out. And then, I would ebb and flow with my workouts. I would go to these real cheap gyms that, on the West Coast, they were Pure Fitness. Here in New York, they are the, God, what is the fucking place called? Not, I go to a nice gym now, but why can't I think of the name? I just psyched myself out. I was ready to tell you the name of the gym. Planet Fitness. That's what it is. Planet Fitness. Went to Planet Fitness. It's the cheapest membership in New York City. It's like $8 or $9 a month. Gyms all over the place. Really easy gym to get to. I was doing that. I've been at Planet Fitness for years, and it's a fine enough gym. A little kind of lackadaisical on the upkeep of the gym, but they got everything you need. And but it wasn't very motivating to go into the gym. For the most part, I've done the same workout since I was playing football in high school. I was, doing the bench, doing the curls, all upper body. Very rarely was I doing lower body. But, those workouts, they get, they would work in a sense that whenever I worked out, I would, I'd gain muscle. I'd get pretty strong, I would, I started doing from 25 on. I think even like after high school, I didn't really bench press with the bar anymore. I do mostly like incline dumbbells, and, you got like a back and chest day, and then like fucking arms day or whatever it is, doing the abs, jump on the treadmill, and then do like 15 minutes of cardio, and it's a pretty standard workout regimen. Nothing special. But, something inside me was just like, man, this just gets boring after a while, just working out. And then I'd lose motivation and then just stop going to the gym. I would go a year, 2 years without going to the gym and then just get motivated. Or I think like once a year I'd get motivated and go to the gym for like a good month or two and then just lose motivation, But as we stand now, in early to mid, oh my God, it's almost mid 2018. Early to mid 2018, I've had a pretty consistent gym regimen for maybe almost the last year or so, where I've been just hitting the gym at least once or twice a week, in some cases 3 times a week. Never. I've never gone to the gym 3 times a week. What am I doing? I'll do twice a week in the gym and then 1 or 2 times of yoga a week. So I've stepped up my fitness regimen a lot, and I think that's because as you get into your 30s, your mid 30s, I'm gonna soon be getting into my late 30s. This is the time, dude, for a man. At least I don't know what it's like for girls, but for a man, like this is our physical prime. We were supposed to biologically, historically, be dead. We were, what was the human life expectancy, like 32 years old? Even that number is a little misleading because, back when Homo sapiens were just becoming a species, 50,000, 100,000 years ago, whatever it was, 2 million years ago, I think, I just read the book Sapiens, so I should know this number, but I think it's like in the 2 million to 70,000 range, somewhere like that. Biologically, it's like most of the people that were born did not live past 2 or 3 years old. And then those that did were probably going to live to like 50 or 60 years old. So when you take all the humans that existed at that time, you take the average, boom, it's 32. But people weren't living to 32 and then dying. They were either living to 3 years old or to 50 or 60 years old. And there's part of me that really thinks that early humans, dude, I really believe, man, that we were living to the triple digits. I know in the Bible, is it the Bible or the Torah or something? Everybody's like 200 years old or 100 years old. I know we can be like, that's a fucking lie. That's crazy. But I really think, dude, I really, really believe, and I think this will be proven over time. Because just remember, dude, there's been, hundreds of thousands, millions of years of human history, and we've only had like modern science for like 300 years. So I don't think we know. We don't know, And I really think, dude, that the human body is built to last, to really last 150, 200 years, I think if you have a daily regimen where you are, away from like a city life, you're not breathing in toxic chemicals, drinking toxic water with fluoride and chlorine, and you're breathing air that isn't fully polluted with carbon dioxide and, auto emissions and factory emissions. If you're just breathing just sweet, fresh fucking air, you're drinking pure, clean water, you're eating, let's say you're eating, vegetables right out of the ground. You're getting all the ground nutrients. You're getting all the dirt, all the good bacteria. You're eating animals that are, in the wild animals. I was going to try to make wild animals sound way more impressive. Animals that are wild animals. Wild animals. You're eating wild animals that aren't fucking tortured and prodded and injected with hormones and eating feed fucking laced with antibiotics. I think the body, and then you're fasting. That's the big thing. You're going days without eating and allowing your body to recover. I think the body could live, 120 easily. I think 150. I wouldn't be shocked if 200. Could you imagine that? 200 years old? There's people in America who are living to 100. There are some people, centenarians, living to 100 without even fucking batting an eye, without even trying. I think it was some lady in Pennsylvania or something. I think I read this like a year or two ago. Was living to like 116 or something. And they're like, what is your secret to life? She's like, fucking drink 3 Miller High Lifes a day or something. And it's like, what? I was like, what? But that's what she said, bro. First of all, even if she wasn't drinking 3 Miller High Lifes a day, her capacities were so solid that she was like, yeah, that's what I fucking do. She was so smart to even just fuck with people. Or she was legit drinking 3 High Lifes a day, Either way, I don't think she was intermittent fasting or, eating fucking, protein supplements or omega pills or fish oil, any of that stuff. I think she was just being a person, So, I got way off topic, but either way, been going to the gym for a while, and I first read about this high-intensity interval training when I read The Bulletproof Diet, the Dave Asprey book, which, look, my feelings on old Dave. Not the biggest Asprey fan in the world, but I am interested to hear what he says because he's got a lot of interesting takes on, different things. And I think in some instances, my viewpoint and his viewpoint, match up. And then there's some points where I'm like, this dude is out of his fucking mind. And then there's some things where I'm like, come on, man, the biohacking thing, like at some point you just have to be a person. You can't live your whole life wearing blue blocker sunglasses and taking, all kinds of powders and pills and potions and dumping butter in your coffee and then expecting to be normal. I think that shit just makes you crazy, and I think the craziness kills you more than anything else. But he was talking about high intensity interval training, and I found it interesting. You just go out and you do like 15 minutes of wind sprints once or twice a week, and then your body just starts reacting. And so I was doing that for a little bit, and I did notice, like, it was like I thought it might have been working, could have been placebo effect, but it felt like it was like good things were happening. So, I mean, the idea with high-intensity interval training is you're basically doing high-intensity workouts. I believe it's, maybe like aerobic workouts, running, bicycling. I think those are the two big ones. But I've been doing it with weights. So I don't know if this is an actual thing. I think I've just kind of convoluted what high-intensity interval training is in the first place. Maybe I'm not clear. Fitness is not like the thing that I know a lot about. I don't know, I'm not a personal trainer. I'm just a dude who loves nutrition and food science and all this, holistic living and biohacking, quote unquote. But fitness regimens, I don't know. I don't come on here pretending to advise anybody on fitness regimens. If you look at my body, you'd be like, damn, he's fucking sexy. But you're not going to be like, fuck, he looks like he lifts a shit ton of weights. I'm getting slowly but surely ripped and carved and shredded. But, if I knew anything about fitness, I may have hit this point fucking years ago. So I don't, I'm not trying to mince words or anything, but basically what I did was I was like, well, let me see if I take this high intensity interval training and then combine that into like some resistance, because again, as a dude in my mid 30s, resistance training is very important. Every dude in there, as you start getting older, should be doing some kind of resistance training because you need to build muscle. It helps. It's good for your whole body. More muscle, versus lower fat. First of all, it helps metabolize the fat in your body. It's good for your bones, and then of course there's all kinds of studies that correlate resistance training and cognitive function, and also you want to be sure it helps with detoxification. It just helps with everything going on in your body. If you want to look at it in like a paleo perspective, it's like if you were a caveman, what were you doing all day? You were fucking moving rocks and shit. You were, running after gazelles. You were, fucking punching trees, and you were lifting carcasses, and you're doing all that. You were always lifting something, you're always on the workout, right? So I kind of took this idea of high intensity interval training of just being like, okay, well, I'm just going to go hard for 15 minutes and use that with resistance. So I've been doing this resistance, and I've been trying to keep myself at like 15 minutes. But sometimes it's hard, sometimes it's like there's cardio, and then it kind of bleeds into stuff, and you get exhausted. You want to take a break. The studies that I've looked at, or the journals that I've looked at where they document these different studies of high-intensity interval training, they'll do stuff like we had people sprint on a bicycle for 10 minutes of intervals of like 10 seconds of just full-on riding, and then 20 seconds of rest or 30 seconds of rest. I've done wind sprints where it was like 30 seconds of sprinting on the treadmill, then 30 seconds of resting, then 30 seconds. So I think as far as like how do you carve it up, it's all different. But my idea is let me just fucking go hard with the lifting, and then I kind of superset it where I'll do like my favorite workout right now is the squats, shoulder press, curls workout where I'll do, and it's heavy, this is the thing. This is where I done fucked up. When I used to work out, I used to do this thing. I had this idea where it was like, oh, well, if you wanna shred up, you got to go low weight, high reps, right? So you just sit there and you crank out fucking sets of 20 or whatever. That doesn't do anything, dude. I don't know who thought of that. I don't know if that really works for anybody. I think the only way to really build bulk muscle and to get shredded is to lift heavy weights. But this is the thing, got to be careful too, because you can really hurt yourself. So if you're going to do this, make sure you take the safety precautions, have somebody working out with you who can spot you, wear the right stuff, wear good shoes, wear a weight belt. I don't even know if that belt does anything, but, don't just go in there haphazardly trying to throw around, hundreds of pounds that you have no business throwing around. But figure out what your capacity is to lift, and then, lift a little under that, right? Figure out what your max is, and then crank them up a little bit under that. Stay to sets of like 2 to 5, I think, are fine. Back when I was a meathead football player, you would do those sets of like 4 sets of 5 or 5 sets of 5, or, the pyramid ones were always the best, like 10 of 10, or 10, a set of 10, set of 8, set of 6, set of 4, set of 2. But lift heavy, but you could do like a set of 4, and then like a set of 4 squats, and like a set of 4 shoulder presses, and a set of curls, and then, just rotate through that for 15 minutes. You know what I mean? Give yourself a break between the sets. But experiment, and what I found is, working out like this, doing these high intensity, lifting sessions, interval lifting sessions, is I think my strength has increased. I've definitely gotten stronger. I've definitely put on weight, that's for sure, but I'm not fatter, so I can only assume that it's muscle. And I've only been doing this really for a couple months now. I think maybe even, like two months or so. Doing it like this, maybe I'll switch it up, but it's cool because you're only in the gym for fucking 15 minutes. And even if it's not working, maybe if I'm not even doing it right, what I know is I'm getting the same exact results, maybe even better results than I was getting when I was in the gym for like 90 minutes working out. I'm getting the same exact results, the same exact strength, the same exact bulk, the same exact cardio from working out for 15 to 20 minutes as when I was doing like 90-minute, 2-hour workouts, or like an hour. I would always want to do an hour. It would go an hour and 15, just trying to squeeze everything in, just trying to focus on like a muscle group. Like today's back day, today's tris day. I'm doing bis and tris today. Today I'm doing bis and tris. I'm doing back and tris, back and bis, or just go to the gym and just do everything in 15 minutes and then just be done with it. Because remember too, it's like the shredding and the strength and the cardio, that's all recovery. So you have to give your body time to recover. You can't just keep breaking down your body. What's it? Catabolizing? Catabolic, I think is the word. You're just cannibalizing your body. Just breaking everything down. The rest is where you get the fruits of your labor, So stop wasting so much time in the gym. I think at this point it's unnecessary. If you're trying to shred up, if you're trying to do cardio, there's a ton of studies on the cardiovascular benefits of doing high intensity interval training. They do these sprint interval trainings, again, where it's just like wind sprints, which when I played football, I hated that shit. That was the worst, but I think it did the most for cardio, And then if you really think about it, like we weren't chasing gazelles for 3 days at a time. We were just like sprinting after those motherfuckers and then stopping and then sprinting and then stopping and then sprinting. So I think your body is more built for this short distance stuff. Also, too, let's be honest. Look at the body of a marathon runner versus the body of a sprinter. The body of a sprinter, bro. It's like, look at a sprinter in the Olympics. Look at Usain Bolt's body. Look at Michael Johnson. That's like a 1980s sprinter. Carl Lewis. Look at those dudes' bodies. I don't know who the famous American sprinters are nowadays. But you look at like a pro football player who, like a cornerback or a receiver or, a safety or one of these dudes who, flies at like 4, can do like a 4.4, 4.3, 40. They got fucking stellar bodies, 6 packs, good pecs, good back, good shoulders. Look at a fucking distance runner. Go out to a marathon or a 5K. Tell me any of those people look sexy. You got fat people running marathons. So the distance, there's something about it. I don't know the science of it, but the long distance stuff is not going to, it's not going to give you the body you want. Unless you want a marathoner's body, you're going to Cabo in a couple weeks. You're like, man, I gotta get that sweet marathon body with the chicken shoulder blades and the fucking no definition legs and the veiny forearms and then the little kind of protruding beer gut. That's what I want to sit on the beach with. Then by all means, fucking run 15 miles a day. You'll get that shit. But if you wanna shred up, do those wind sprints or do the quick flinch, the quick reactive exercise, the high intensity. Plus, dude, get in and out of the gym. It's the best. It's the best. And not to mention, when you do this shit, when you grow that muscle, your body is much better at metabolizing. You raise your metabolism, which is good. You don't have none of that fat and sugar sitting around your body. Get that shit out. Detoxify. High intensity. Motherfucker. So go to the gym. Let me know how it works out. Shoot me a message on Facebook or on email, holistic.a.hole@gmail.com. Find me on Facebook, Holistic A-Hole, and let me know if this works for you. I'd love to know. See some before and after pictures. Put it on Instagram, some before and after Instagram high-intensity interval training pictures. So, also don't forget to go to YouTube, subscribe to the channel, watch the videos. We're putting them out every week. And if you have any ideas, thoughts on episodes, stuff you want me to cover, send me a tweet, Holistic A-Hole. Just connect. That's what I'm about. So I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Keep listening. Share it with your friends, your family. If you're new to the podcast, listen to the previous podcast, take an afternoon and just binge on the Holistic A-Hole podcast. And keep your ears peeled for the next episode where I will catch you there. Have a great afternoon or day or evening, wherever you are. Know from my holistic heart, I love you, A-Holes. Peace.